Hello and welcome to the very first Full Tilt Throwback. I'm your host, Big Kris, and joining me today, my esteemed guest, one of the original FTW wrestlers, the man that helped us out a lot, and my brother. So basically, the idea behind this show is we haven't had nothing to do for a long time. All of us are sitting at home. We're bored, and we love wrestling, so we want to talk about it. But I didn't want to be like everyone else and talk about WWE or AEW because we're like both, really. We're like all wrestling, so we didn't really want to talk about something where,
Cause a divide.
yeah, so we'd rather than I thought, why don't we talk about Full Tilt Wrestling? And then I thought, rather than me just talking about, why don't I get people who've been in Full Tilt Wrestling from the beginning, people that aren't here anymore, and just talk about the times in FTW. And then here we are with a podcast. So the very first guest is going to be my brother. So for those of you that don't know, Carl wrestled as Kamoze Jr Burns. But before he was actually a wrestler, he was a referee. And before a referee, he was actually the ring crew. Now, you've done a little bit of training before you come to FTW.
Yeah.
But you've done your majority of your training with me,
Yeah.
obviously. But just talk a little bit about when you first started training, when you trained with IWF.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you first get into wrestling?
Well,
Like, into wrestling with IWF?
yeah. Well, firstly, I've always had a love for wrestling. Loved watching wrestling from when I was a kid. Never heard of any wrestling schools that were about. Then, like, I was about 15, 16, moved to Gateshead. And then when I was at college, met a kid called Chris Avery.
Shout out to Youngster.
And obviously he was in your class, but then just bumped into him a few times, got talking to him, told us that he was a trainer, which was IWF, and then went from there. Never thought it would be possible to learn to be a wrestler, especially in Gateshead. But yeah, big surprise. Big market for it.
So, what was your first training session like? Was it hard?
Oh, first session was absolutely mental. Seeing the size of some of the guys and having to get it into my head that I would be taking like hits off these guys. Like
What was it? Was it they didn't train in a ring, did they? You trained.
No. So it was at Gated Leisure Centre.
Aye.
So what they used to do was, depending on what class they had, because they used to do 2 training sessions. If it was on a Sunday, which was when it tended to be the bigger classes, they used the big sports hall, but it would just be like the judo mats and crash mats that would be out. So
bumping on judo mats and crash mats.
yeah,
Ouch.
yeah.
For a beginner session as well, like go and bump on that mat.
Well, that's just it. That's like one of the first shocks that you get. It's like, can you fall? It's like, well, I know how to fall so I don't get hurt. And it's like, just let your legs go. That's like, that was the first thing. It was like, just throw your legs out from underneath you and fall back. And like on a judo mat, that can hurt.
So obviously, the trainer for IWF, like at the time, there was a youngster in Stoom.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stoom as well. So I mean, like, obviously, I know them. Their training is like really intense.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you feel like after, like, a couple of months of training, did you feel like
Well,
you'd like changed totally? Or?
I'm not going to lie and say that I was changed totally. Started seeing the benefits. The training sessions were hard, but to be able to be a wrestler, it can't be easy. They do have to not necessarily wean out the weak ones, but you do have to make sure that the person's able to take the rigours of all of the falls, the bumps that you would have to be taking. So, one of those things where as soon as you've got it into your head that that's what you want to do, then you've just got to go and balls to the wall.
So, did you have any matches?
So the way much it went at IWF was that they done like gym shows, and the gym shows were mainly for like the trainees. So similar sort of thing to what has been adopted at FTW. How if you are doing a gym show, there would be a trainee with an experienced wrestler. So I done a couple of those matches. Nothing that I would say to the degree of what I've then been able to go on and do in FTW. But then again, I was still only young, so just put it down to a learning curve.
So, how old were you when you had like your first match in front of a crowd?
I think I was about 17. For obviously for shits and gigs, it was a case of you pick a name. Doesn't necessarily have to be the name that you're then going to be wrestling under, but just for the sake of it. So obviously called with a K. I love being called with a K, so mine had to be Cola Cube. Cola Cube with a K. Like
Cola Cube.
yeah, it was just a bit of fun. Like, wasn't really to be taken serious only in the match itself. So I was happy enough with it. Crowd responded to it. Started issuing Cola Cubes, man. People loved it.
So, well, we're going to move on a bit now from like being an IWF. I want to talk about your first match in FTW. So, like, this is for everyone that didn't know. Like, you didn't really want to come back to wrestling at first, did you? Because I had to like sort of beg you for about 2 years to even just come to training.
Well,
And you would keep giving us like proper bullshit, like, "Oh, I can't. I'm at work all weekend, and I can't come to training." Now, don't lie, because it's recording.
man has to work. Man has to work.
But we're training on a weekend when you weren't working.
Yeah, that's true. But it wasn't a case of. I just had to find my passion for it again, like to make sure that it was definitely something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even though that I was saying like, how I come wrestle with your brother, because again, for people that don't know, when Carl first started wrestling, he asked me, and at the time I was playing hockey, and I basically just says, "Why would I want to do wrestling? I'm going to get injured." And I was like,
I'm already having fights. I'm
it's-
already exceeding penalty box minutes. So
it's going to be a waste of time. And then flip like 10 years later, and then it's the other way around. I'm like saying to you, come back to wrestling and that come.
like, please don't get us wrong. Like, I've always had the love for watching it, but that time, yeah, I was like, well, is it really something that I want to go after? So I just had to find my passion for it again. You say that it took you 2 years, but
I think it might have took a bit longer.
whatever it was, like, I came back.
I do remember though the first time you come in and you saw the ring and that your eyes just lit up and you were just like, this is like one more back being kids.
6 sides?
No, well, it was more like when we were kids and we always used to wrestle.
Yeah.
Always. And then it was like, yeah.
It's bumping on the grass.
Bro, I've got a ring.
Yeah.
So anyways, you're in FTW.
Yeah.
You come back to training and that. And like, you did get your passion back. Because I would say out of everyone is like, for me, you were the most like, the training that took it the most serious. So you were like, right, we can't fuck about. We need to just we need to do this, we need to do the drill.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone else was obviously like newer. So as well as learning, they were like, "Well, we want to have fun." But then it showed because obviously your fitness improved. You were doing stuff you'd never done before. So I remember, I think it
Prince
was.
Nassim flips into the ring.
Because I think I remember it was like we tried something and you were probably shitting yourself, and then we'd done it, and then you were just like, and then after that you were just like,
Yeah.
it was just like, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And you were just
It's-
like, "Aye, I'll do it."
It's like, to be perfectly honest, it's like it's the confidence and the trust that what I'm being trained and the way in which I'm being trained is going to be a safe way to do it. So as long as I'm willing to put the time in to make sure that I can do it, then obviously the rest then just falls hand in hand. So like I say, I always wanted to, lost a bit of passion, but then as soon as I came back to train and seen what the trainees who were already there were doing, like, it was a no-brainer. I had to at least try. I had to at least get in amongst it, like, and it was great. Every little job that was put there, it was all for the greater good. The greater good.
So the first match in FTW, who was it against?
I'm a bit sketchy on it, only because was it really my first match when I kind of just answered an open challenge. In the open challenge, it was kind of then just a squash match. It wasn't.
Never answer open challenges, especially if was it me? I can't remember. I've had that many hits to the head. I cannot remember. Was it me?
I think it might have been like
Me.
it was. Lost it, Charlie.
Was it not Jed? The only people I can remember doing open challenge at FTW is Jed, me, I think maybe it's Ragnar.
No, well, Primate done one as well, but that was later on, which that one was absolutely hellish. So I would never do that again. It might have been Jed, because obviously there was a lot of matches that I had with Jed off the back of having the first match with him. It was like three or four matches that we had in total. And from them, I think he came away the victor once, which was in the last match that we had together. So if that is right, then mint.
So, like, obviously, yeah, you've had matches before. You had matches in FTW, but it was just like gym shows.
Yeah.
So, like, how nervous were you when you had the match? Were you like thinking, "This is make or break. If I fuck this up, then that's it," or were you like, "I'm ready"?
Well, that's the way.
SpongeBob.
That's the way that I thought about it.
Right.
Was that it's make or break, but everybody else who was there, all of the other trainees, the trainees who were more experienced than what I was, the veterans, Jed, Brian as well, he was about at the time, so offered a lot of reassurance, made us feel a lot comfortable in knowing that if I was to fuck up, it wasn't the end of the world as long as I was able to continue through with the match, hit the points that I needed to get my stuff in so that I at least looked like a viable contender in the match. Like, everything was put there for us so that it wasn't as bad as what I thought it would be.
I don't agree with that. Me, like, I thought most of your matches were like very good now, like putting a lot of work in. Both like as like the person that's what am I trying to say? I'm like,
well, I can take heat.
no, but I'm saying, like, you always like put in your side. You know, there was never like, oh,
well, you have to contribute.
well, I'm losing, so like I'm not going to do nothing. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
well, that
you
was
did
something.
work hard.
That was something, obviously, that you tell us Chris and Stoom had told us as well. They were like, at the very least, regardless of the match, you've got to at least have an input. It might not always be took on as being, all right, well, we'll do it, but you've at least got to have some creative input in the match. So times that we were talking, like, what is it that I can do? Obviously, starting off, it was a lot. There wasn't that much that I could do, but everything else, it was.
You did take a good shit kicking though.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the
Trained
main.
as well, bro.
I think that's probably one of the main, like,
20 years of getting
It's like-
Higgins off your older brother.
if it's like you always want to try and like have a good skill, but like in wrestling, if you're good at getting the shit kicked out of you, it's like
What can I say? I was FTW's Dolph Ziggler.
yeah. I always try to look after you. You know, I didn't try and hurt you much. I probably hurt you more in fights that I've had like on a Saturday morning over the remote, over like
Yeah.
who's going first on the PlayStation.
Who's making breakfast this time?
Exactly. So the next thing I want to talk about now is we've done a lot of skits.
Yeah.
So a little bit backstory: when he was a referee, and he wanted to become a wrestler. Now obviously the crowd thinking he was just a referee, he hadn't had no training, but he'd probably been training for about like back training properly for a while, for about 2 years or something.
Yeah, it was about that, yeah.
You were training for a bit, so it was like you knew how to wrestle, you knew what you were doing, but we wanted to like make a story out of it.
Yeah.
So obviously we've done like a few skits, me, you, and Stoom, and so just tell us like a bit about the skits that you've done.
So the skits themselves, it was just like teaching us the basics of wrestling. So obviously some of the stuff that's in there is 100% genuine. Like, I tried not to, but then sometimes it just came out the way in which it came out, which was also natural. A lot of trips, not being able to do pull-ups or as many pull-ups as what was required. A lot of running the ropes, a lot of the basics that you should be doing, but a lot of fun doing it, doing the skits. I think I got my point across.
So I mean, like for the creative process. So obviously, it was like me and you together, right? But like, did you see yourself as being like a comedy wrestler, or were you just doing that to like sell like being this new wrestler in training?
I think if anything, it was a way of getting us out of my shell. So out of my comfort zone. If I can be a bit funny, brilliant. If it works for the match that I'm having, even better. Because if I'm enjoying it, the other person's enjoying it, goes without saying that the crowd will enjoy it.
Well, can you remember the gimmick that I first suggested before we even got to this, and you were just like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it."
Well, was that the mask?
Not the mask.
Asking us to put on a mask.
Yeah, but
and
like,
then dance around with some other wrestler. What was he called? Montage.
No. My pitch was you were going to be the music man, and like your power would be you could make anybody dance.
Yeah.
But you were like, no.
Nah.
Even though every birthday party, wedding, funeral, whatever, you're the first person up on the dance floor.
I'm the first person up on the dance floor. I'm the last person to sit down from the dance floor. But the problem with that character that I couldn't get into my head was I've got to make somebody else dance. And I couldn't think of a way to be able to do that.
You just had to touch them?
I know, but if they weren't dancing as well as what
Consensually, obviously, consensually.
Well, everything's done with consent.
So, like, did you have, like, any ideas for skits that you wanted to do that you never got to do, but you really wanted?
I would say, if anything, the skits that I would have liked to do more of would have been the ones after that famous tag match that we had. Like, I think going from that match, the event itself was all great. It was absolutely amazing. But then from there, if it could have been possible, I would have liked to go on from then and do a lot more skits. Get were like a crime time for everybody who's old school.
That's not in the least stereotypical, is it?
It's playing with what you know, though. Like, I thought it would have been funny. Like, I would have had fun with it regardless because I was doing it with you. But
Hey, I have been mugged before at knife point. No, at no point is it funny.
yeah, that is true. But
Just because we speak in with slang and wear baggy clothes does not make it funny.
Depends on who's mugging you, to be fair.
So, what I want to go on to next, is probably the main thing, the main idea behind the show. All right. So, what we're going to do now is this part of the show is going to be called "What If." So, what I want you to do is I want you to go back in your time with FTW to a certain point, and what I want you to do is you've got complete control over the whole of FTW. So if you wanted, you could take control of yourself. You could take control of me, anybody that you wanted. But you've got to then tell me what you want to do. So what if Kamoze Jr Burns was in charge?
So the first thing that we'd do would have naked Sundays.
What?
That would be the first thing.
No way.
So, being perfectly honest, the only thing that I would change about my time in FTW would be to get a championship.
Right.
So,
but for those of you who don't know, if I ever meet you, right, and I ask you if you could do what you want to do in FTW and you say you want to be champion, right, just know this, I'm laughing at you as soon as I'm not talking to you anymore. Because it's very, very selfish to say you want to be the champion.
I don't want to be the singles champion.
All right, I'll let you off. How then? You've got complete control.
So,
Forget about my rules.
So, first thing that I would do would be to start a tag tournament, right? And the way in which it would be set up would be where on one side, the team that we're having in the final
PBD rules
is then going back to the match that we had, that famous match at the White House, which would be against the Country Club. So
Davenport and Ragnar.
Yeah, will have to be. I need to get me W. Literally.
Well, hold on.
L.
You took a move in the middle of the ring. I got put through a table.
Right, you got put through a table.
Yeah.
But I was then sick underneath the ring.
Yeah, but that's
from taking said move. So
well, I was sore for several days.
But I had a nasty taste in my mouth. That loss literally did not taste nice at all. So the way in which the tournament would be structured would be so that us would be in the final.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Both teams?
Yes. We're then winning, right? Having to suffer the horrible taste of that loss on that night with the fantastic, amazing show that it was, to have to physically stomach that taste, that would be getting absolutely washed off. We can't be having that. So there's a tag tournament. There's let's go wild. Right, let's stretch it out for a 2-month period. So we've got 16 teams.
Okay.
right?
We better copyright this in case anyone nicks it. Don't nick it.
So from the 16 teams, because obviously there was a lot of tags that were in FTW. There's a lot of old wrestlers who, as soon as they seen what was happening with FTW, they wanted to get back on the case. So,
because FTW is tag team wrestling.
So for myself, like, I think we've had more than enough teams to cover it. I think the storyline wise, with it headed towards us versus the country club, I thought that would have been good because the country club were doing some fantastic stuff at the time. Davenport and Ragnar tearing it up everywhere where they went. So having, like I say, over about a 2-month period, loads of different matches, all just round robins. So winner stays in, keeping it going. Yes, obviously taking into account my lack of experience might be a hindrance, but the overall story would be that I'm capable of doing it. I'm able to do it. And then when we get to the final, this guy is winning the tag belts for us, bro. That's what's going to happen. The what if would be, what if I got the win instead of me having to take the loss?
Well, you didn't have to take it.
Well, I had to. I couldn't move.
No, well, it was like someone had to go through the table and someone had to take the pin.
I would have been happy to go through the table.
Not from the way it felt.
But if I could go back to change anything.
So when we win, are we winning? Are you doing everything like you've done the whole ending of the match, or is it a double team?
No. We're doing it together, bro.
Right. So what double team finish are we using?
Well, you like the senton. I'm partial to feeling a bit froggy every now and again. So could be like a senton into a frog splash. Could be.
Nah, I'd probably, if it's a. Actually, I'm not going to say
For
because
how it felt.
for a main event tag match, I'm doing a backflip. They have said it.
For how it felt, I would be happy if you were to have picked either one of them up, Davenport or Ragnar, for a suplex, and I would then crossbody them, just so that they knew how that felt for me when I was winded. I'm going to land on them and see if they be sick. That would be their comeuppance.
So your whole what if you had control is to make the country club be sick
At the end.
and make us champions.
Yeah.
See, it's a good thing in me, brother. I'm telling you now, it's a good, like that type of thing, right? I'm telling you now, right? It's an easy way to realize if people are being serious or not. Is if they say, "I want to be champion."
I know, but like I say, I don't want to be a singles champion. I'm not wanting all of the attention for myself. I wanted to share it with my brother. I wanted to stand united with me brother with the title against someone rather than it always being me against you.
So we'll go on from there, right? We'll become tag team champs. Who's turn on who?
I think it goes without saying that you're turning on me.
Why?
It's been the story of my life.
No, hold on. You're the shit. I'm the good son. You're the little shit son. You're a little shitbag. Do I have to ring mom up and get her to...
You might have to.
So how then?
Does that work?
So I would turn on you.
Yeah, and I would say that you would turn on me.
What? So I would be the heel, or would I be the face?
No, I think that you would be the face, only because I know past experience that I can be a bit annoying. So I've got the feeling that if we were to split, it would be because of something that I've done more than you going, "Oh, me annoying little brother." It would
Which
be.
I've said many times before.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I would think it'd be more a case of me being annoying than what would cause the split. But then in doing that, we could then have a wrestling match.
I've never had one before, have we?
Not a wrestling match.
Well, we've had one in training.
Yeah.
We've had a few, but we haven't really done...
I know, but that's not the same. It doesn't have the same emotion. And the crowd...
It's a money match, so, you know, you don't just give actual blood brothers against each other for nothing, you know. That's got to be a build, that. So...
And I'm quite sure that if there was to be a build and I get the chance to be annoying, I could annoy you. I could annoy you easily to the point of where...
I don't know, hold on. So, would there be, like, off limits, or would there be...
We're brothers. Nothing's off limits.
All right. Okay. All right, I see.
What?
Just be careful, right? Because if I see you look at me funny, right, when we're next to a ring, I will batter you. Right?
Don't you there?
Don't even. I know what you plan on doing. You're not fighting me.
I don't want to fight you.
How then say the rest? I have to.
There will come a point.
Will the hell? It'll never happen.
Been many a times when we've been growing up that you just can't. Do you know what it is? It's that time. It's Tuesday.
It's time to throw hands.
And let's just do it. And you know for a fine fact that you used to love it when you were doing your hockey training and you'd watch the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
Stick, gloves, shirt. Like,
I'm sorry, weren't you the one that after you'd been doing wrestling, you were like, oh, I can chin you? And then I had to batter you to prove you wrong.
Learn by your mistakes.
I'm just joking. I love you really, bro. Even though I would definitely kick your fucking ass. But I love you. So the last part, we're going to do a quick fire round. So I'm going to give you a few questions and I want the first answer that comes in your head.
Yes.
Funny. So, slap or chop?
Chop.
Rainbow style suplex?
Suplex.
Splash or sent on?
Sent on.
Super kick or drop kick?
Super kick.
No DQ or street fight?
Gotta be comfy, street fight all the way.
What shoes would you wear in a street fight? Air Force Ones? All black?
Ooh, bit black on black. With a nice tie-dye blue jean. Like, that's the normal one, but I think I might have...
would you be... Conversely, would you be vest or no vest? Or topless?
Ooh.
It's just like...
I would... Do you know what? Man had a good body in the day, so I'll go topless.
So that brings us to the end of the show. The very first throwback I thought was great. But one last thing before we go, I've got a special announcement. So obviously, we're coming out of lockdown. Hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood. So as well as bringing training back, starting in May, we're also going to be having our first show, which is going to be on August the 13th. It's going to be a Friday, and it's going to be in a place that me and you know very well, the Thomas Wilson Club in Gateshead. So we haven't been there for about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So it'll be the first time we're back there. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The first show since March 2020. So the first show is going to be the 13th of August, 2021. So all the information will be on the Facebook page. So it'll be on below this. So click on it, get your tickets, and we'll see you there.